With me, there's also Chiara, my colleague, and Pritish, that you will hear in a few minutes, who is a student attending our university right now, and who is here in Milano next door, basically, right? So let's start talking a little bit about Italy. I don't know if you want to write in the chat only the city, if any of you have visited Italy, which is the city that you have been visiting. I mean, if you don't write, this means you have never been in Italy. Italy is one of the most, let's say, powerful economies in the world. It's still in the G8 countries and the founding member of the European Union. At Bocconi, we truly believe to be a European university. We are in the north of Italy, and so we are really connected to the rest of continental Europe in particular. Italy, as you may have studied also in your previous education during high school, being, let's say, the cradle of Western civilization, has been very influential in the centuries, and also it's I think it's one of the countries that host the majority of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. I think it's 65 different UNESCO World Heritage Sites in just a little country as Italy. Italy is not only about art, culture, but I think that we can show the world also our skills in innovation and technology. Think about famous brands like Fiat, cars, as well as the Vespa that you can see in the photo, the motorbikes, but also we have a lot of industries producing all the little, let's say, metal things that goes into bigger electric appliances, for example, as well as the fashion world, which is the other big and very much famous all over the world Italian feature. The Made in Italy is famous for its quality. This is very important. I think that in our culture, quality in fashion, in food, in the lifestyle is something that we care very much about. We are based in Milano today. We will talk a little bit more about Milano. You can see in this is one of the buildings of our campus, but in the photo you can see the main cathedral, which is a 15 minutes walk from our campus, and it's, as said, in the north of Italy, in the Lombardy region, which is ranked the #2 in Europe for GDP per capita. This means that is one of the richer areas of Europe where the majority of the economic transactions happen. You may know that the administrative capital of Italy is Rome, a bit southern, a historical city with the Colosseum, the Roman rests, archaeological rests, and all the ministers and government offices. Milano hosts the Italian Stock Exchange. So I would say, you know, there is a little competition between Milano and Rome. I don't know if it happens in some cities in India as well, but we really believe Milano is more of the economic capital of the city. We call it also the moral capital. And if you think that Milano hosts the Italian Stock Exchange, we have more than 130 branches of different banks. The majority of multinational companies are in Milano because they are more connected to the rest of Europe, thanks also to the 3 airports that we have in such a small city like Milano. Imagine that Milano is 1/5 of the size of Rome. So into the Rome size, there can be 5 Milano, basically. Other two interesting information, in 2 years, Milano will host the Winter Olympics together with Cortina, which is up in the Alps. Milano is really a strategic location. I'm very Milanese. You can hear it, how much I'm proud of my city. Besides the fashion shows, the events, the museum that happen, and the vibes of a multicultural city. It's very much connected to the rest of Europe. In 1 hour flight, you can get to all the other capitals from Paris, Madrid, Frankfurt, Vienna, and so on. But also in 1 hour and 30 drive, you can be at the seaside, in the coast near France, or up in the mountains on the Alps. So I understand that for many students, it's a very pleasant way also to profit of the surroundings. In 3 hours train ride, you can get to Rome or to Venice. And again, I mean, you can really make the most of exploring all the Italian culture. Milano, this is another photo of the new west side of Milano with the skyscrapers. Let's say that the city changed dramatically thanks to the Expo, the World Expo that was in Dubai, if I remember correctly, 2 years ago, and it was in Milano in 2015. As you can imagine, the Expo helped us collect funds to build these beautiful skyscrapers, to build a metro line, a public transport that comes directly from the city airport to the main square. So it's really kind of 4 metro stops from the Linate airport, you get to the cathedral, basically. So it's again quite impressive. This is again, as you can imagine, it's not such a big city and distances are quite easy. Not many people need a car here in Milano. There are very good public transports. We like going by bike also, and to walk a lot. I actually, talking about Italian culture, I was listening to some videos on social media also about other type of cultures like the Americans, and they made some differences with the European, let's say, culture, saying that we really, in Europe especially, also walking around the city, taking less cars and more, bikes, walking, public transport, also in terms of sustainability, is something quite shared in our culture, as well as sustainable food. You will discover, if you come to Italy, and I'm sure Pritish can comment on that afterwards, that our food can be very simple, but majority of time organic, healthy, besides tiramisu and pasta and pizza. But for sure, when I meet students and families from all over the world who ask me about food or meal plans at our university, I always say that food is not a problem in Italy. It's just a joy. And it's part of socializing. You will discover in Italy, and especially in Milano, we have a special tradition after work, after classes, called aperitivo, where you go out with your friends, with your colleagues, to have a drink, often accompanied by a big buffet of food for free. So you pay for your drink, but you can access food, and we basically spend the evening chit-chatting, eating and drinking together. I think this is the most joyful thing of our culture. Let's talk a little bit about the Italian higher education system, and then I leave the floor to Pratish, just for you to know. Let's say we have a 13 years education prior to university. I think in India you have 12. Then we have a 3-year bachelor programs and 2-year Master of Science programs. Then, of course, a 3-year PhD and also 1-year specialized master. Today, we are especially focusing on Master of Science programs, as I believe the majority of you are either attending a bachelor or just finishing the bachelor program. Italy has almost 100 universities. You might have been hearing of Bologna, which is a 1-hour train ride south of Milano, still in the Pianura Padana, in the plain in the north of Italy. And this is the oldest university in the Western world, more than 1,000, basically 1,000 years. You know, in Europe, the first universities in the Middle Age were basically born from the monks. So they were monasteries where monks used to write, copy, and read the books. So the tradition of studying, research, and of scholars is very much present in our country and in our continent. Rome, that you might have heard, Rome La Sapienza, is the biggest university in Europe with 150,000 students, more than 4,000 professors, 3 campuses in Rome. Again, I don't want to make competitions with Rome, just consider, for example, also smaller universities where life can be a bit easier, okay, where you're not just a number, but you are a person who can be taken care of. There are also universities for foreigners that are basically in Perugia and Siena, is in the center of Italy, in the countryside, beautiful location. They mainly teach Italian culture and language. This is the university you want to do in case you want to learn Italian, learn how to teach Italian, or as a 6 months experience in order to get, let's say, a culture support when then you might want to start a university here in Italy. Last but not least, there are also more than 100 art and music academies. They are very important. They host students from all over the world. Imagine how famous is La Scala Theatre or the opera in Italy, but also dance or art and so on. So many students from all over the world are very happy to come here for the reason I told you before. It's the land of art and culture. So where best to study this kind of subjects. The good news is that in the past, in the recent years, more and more of the 96 universities in Italy have been starting offering programs entirely taught in English. This, as I anticipated before, allows you to come and study a full degree program without the necessity to be fluent in Italian. Of course, we will talk about it later on. Getting a bit of knowledge of Italian will help you make the most of your experience here, socialize, travel around Italy, and so on. There are more than 30 universities, Italian university ranked in the most famous rankings. And then again, maybe I'll talk a bit about this when we talk about Bocconi. The majority are public universities and often located in historical city centers because they were those monasteries. Bocconi is quite of a young university for Italy, dates back 1902, so 120 years compared to 1000 is really a young university, but I won't spoiler and I will talk about Bocconi in particular a little later. The point here is don't expect an American style campus outside of the city, enclosed, etc., because 90% of Italian universities are in the city center, allowing you to mingle with the local community, let's say. I wanted to say one more information. You see here the website Study in Italy. I would also recommend, maybe I'll write you later in the chat, to search for Uni Italia, UNI Italia, which is the official Minister of Foreign Affairs agency taking care of international students. They have an office in Mumbai. So in the future, in case of need, you can also count on them. You can ask us to be in touch with them, and they offer a lot of orientation to come to study in Italy. A few more information about Italian universities. As said, the majority, 90% of Italian universities are public university. In Europe, we have what we say il diritto allo studio, the right to study. This is why the majority of universities are public and almost free of charge, depending on the family incomes. There are also governmental scholarships that apply to both public and private universities. It's called the ISU, and it means really diritto allo studio, again, the right to study, and they are given again on income based. Private universities may be more expensive, but on the other hand, as I anticipated before, they might have a bit more attention towards international students, a bit more services like international student care, accommodation, as well as merit scholarship, where independently from your family income or properties, we would assign up to full merit scholarship to the most talented students, let's say. Before going on with the Bocconi universities, and here are some photos, I would be happy to hear from Pritish, who made the leap of faith from India to Milano, right?
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Veronica. Yeah. So just before I talk about my experience at Bocconi, hi everyone. A little about my background. I did my undergrad at Ashoka University. So I graduated last year with a BA in economics and computer science. And yeah, so I was at the end of my graduation, I was looking for a master's course that fit my needs. And after considering everything, Bocconi University was the best option for me. So I'm currently doing the economics and management of innovation and technology course here, and I'm in my first year. So yeah, and with a major in big data and business analytics. So yeah, it's been a wonderful opportunity to be here to talk to you guys about it. Uh, for me, coming to Milan was obviously I did not see myself coming to Italy for my masters because most of my peers were going around, going to the UK or the US, but Bocconi was the best option because of the course and its uniqueness in terms of Bocconi's strengths. It's a very business focused and network focused university with a lot of opportunities around Europe. And yeah, so I made my way here in September, and just 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 to be honest about it, I was very nervous considering it's Italy, where the language is primarily Italian. So it was a learning curve, but I'm very interested in in the challenge of exploring different cultures. So the idea of learning Italian, being able to travel around Europe, and more specifically in Italy, was honestly a treat to me. I have been learning Italian. I mean, I'm still not the best yet, but it's been quite lovely having Italian peers to talk to, and also the international friends that I have in my class. But it's great. I mean, the social circle that I've built over here is very diverse, so it allows me to experience all cultures as well as Italy at the same time. And yeah, so in Milan, I have been, alongside my courses, I've been spending time traveling, learning about Italy. Last week, I just came back from Rome and Florence, which was actually amazing. And yeah, so that's pretty much my
Did you
initial
find any
experience.
difference, Pritish, between Rome and Milano?
Yeah, Rome was, I mean, considerably bigger, but I prefer Milan much more in terms of living because it's a very student-friendly city. There are so many students that I mean, it's very young, it's very diverse, and yeah, even the city, I feel like it's a much the public transport system is very effective. All in all, it's a great place to live, and I'm learning, but it's been very eventful in terms of experiencing new things every day.
Can I ask you how was the process at the beginning? For example, if you're staying in a residence hall or in an apartment, how was this part of the process after you got admitted?
Right, sure.
Beside being scared of coming.
Right, sure. So, I opted to look for a housing outside of the Bocconi University campus. So I stay about 20 minutes away from campus, and there are a lot of websites as well that that help you as a student to for like young professionals or students to find housing in Milan. So it wasn't really a difficult process. I mean, there are a lot of options in all sorts of budget ranges, and luckily I found one that was perfect for me in the budget range I was looking for. Location wise as well, considering Milan is sort of big enough that you might want to stay close to university for class convenience. But yeah, it was quite a simple process. I could do it all from home uh, back in yeah, and that was quite easy all in all.
Perfetto, grazie mille, Pritish. Maybe I'll ask you a few more questions when we talk about masters and admission. Let me go on a little bit with a few more information about our university in particular. Bocconi, as I was mentioning, well, here is the map of Milano where you can see the B is where we are. Here are several different districts, and maybe you want to take a kind of a screenshot for those of you who will be lucky enough to join us next summer or maybe in the future. I would say that from our campus, you can walk to the red dot, which is where the cathedral is, but also to the Navigli, the canals full of bars and nightlife area. You can see nice photos of the seaside in Liguria as well, and where the airports are located. As I anticipated, Bocconi is quite of a young university for Italy, but it was the first one issuing a degree specifically in economics. In the photo, you can see our founder, Ferdinando Bocconi, who was an entrepreneur at the end of the 19th century. And if you will come to Milano, you will see his first shop, the Bocconi shop, who is now the biggest and most luxury department store in Milano, next to the cathedral, called La Rinascente, the Renaissance. This name was given after the First World War. We started very early offering programs entirely in English. We were the first in Italy 20 years ago. I started working at Bocconi exactly when we started offering programs in English and recruiting students from abroad. The exchange programs and the relationship with other universities is dates back 1974. Imagine that the Erasmus program, so the exchange program among European universities that is funded and sponsored by the European Union, was born in the 80s, so almost 10 years after, while since the start of this university, the connection with the rest of the world has been very, very important, as much as bringing in not only into Bocconi, but also to Milano, and maybe to stay here, to work here, also international talents. Some figures about us. We have more than Pritish said, he has a lot of student colleagues from many other countries. We have in general 44% of international students in class. At master level, I think it's around 34. At bachelor level is more than 50%. So it's growing with 15,000 students. Milano, Pritish said that before, Milano hosts 8 different universities. So you really find a lot of students also from other universities in many nice areas, like on the Navigli again, alle Colonne, British, where students meet in the evening. You also mingle with many, many students from all the other universities. I anticipated that some universities in Italy are ranked among international prestigious rankings. In particular, we have 2 Master of Science that are ranked among the 20 best in the world, Finance and International Management. Bocconi is the number 4 best business school in Europe. If we consider continental Europe and not UK, it becomes number 3. and the MBA now is number 6 in the world. You can also see some other ranking related to subjects. It's also controversial. It's always controversial to talk about rankings, but in my opinion, when your CV with a nice name ends on the right desk, it can make the difference. Let's say it's a good passport. Do you agree with me, Pritish?
Yes, completely.
Here is the list of all our 2-year Master of Science programs. I wouldn't go into detail because it's not the focus of today's webinar. I just wanted you, Pritish, if you would like to talk a little bit about the program you chose.
All right. Yeah. So the course I'm doing is Economics and Management of Innovation Technology. It's a 2-year course. It's very focused on how technology works in today's business environment, and which is essentially what I wanted to do because I have a background in economics as well as computer science. So this course was a perfect combination of understanding how technology is important in the business world today and how to gear yourself for it. So the course is very good and it's very practical in the way that even the theoretical parts are complemented by practical sort of sessions. So last semester, for instance, we had the CEO of Vodafone Italia come to class and talk about how they're transforming the business in this world of 5G and the new technology revolution that's happening. And that's just one of the many people that have come to our class. We've had venture capitalists. We've had the country head of Meta come to our class and talk about where Facebook is headed in Europe and what their plan is in terms of technology. So it's been very useful in the way that we have the theoretical part of the concept and how it's being applied in today's world. So we study case studies of companies and how they're transforming their businesses in today's innovative landscape. So that's pretty much my current 2 cents on this.
Next week, we have a guest from your program, Pritish, who is in the Italy's Forbes under 30 Forbes under 30, and he's a startupper. He found his own startup. So this program especially is really also for entrepreneurship,
right.
Bringing innovation and change. It's one of my favorite, I have to admit it. I wouldn't talk about all the rest because again, we don't have time. Consider that we have program in economics and management, finance, quite famous, but also these new or very peculiar programs like innovation and technology or data science and business analytics, and also if you join degree with Politecnico of Milano, you might know it. It's a very prestigious engineering school. So you see also Pritish too has a background in computer science. So we are developing a lot this area. Why? Because companies and the businesses, the job world is asking us that. At master level, our priority is to shape the student profile in order to make it interesting for companies and institutions. So it will be a process during the 2 years. Starting from day one, you have a career accountant working with you and building your career path for the future. This is, I think, very different from the bachelor. And it surprised me as well that from day one of the master, you are already very focused to the end of the master and to finding a good internship and hopefully a job afterwards. In terms of funding and support, the Master of Science fees are around 16,000 euros per year for 2 years. I'm sorry, I don't know how it is in Indian rupees. I should calculate it. Maybe we'll let students know afterwards. The good news is that 1 student out of 4 receives some sort of financial aid. Bocconi, thanks also for being a private university, is able to collect donations from alumni, like probably the one that Pritish said the CEO of Vodafone was probably a Bocconi alumnus. and many other. The CEO of Microsoft Italy is a Bocconi alumnus and the president of the Bocconi Association, Bocconi Alumni Association worldwide. We have 130,000 alumni worldwide. We have chapters in New York, in Shanghai, in Rome, in London. So this allows also students to connect a lot with alumni and companies. Going back to funding, as I was mentioning before, as a private university, we are able to offer students half or full merit scholarship, depending only on their talent, academic profile, personal profile, and so on. I think I'm done for my part. I don't know if Pritish wanted to say something else to students who might want to mirror your steps and decide to come to Italy.
Yeah, just a small sort of advice. I feel like if you've done your undergrad in India and you spend most of your time there, I feel like it's a very, very good step and a good idea to like broaden your horizons and step out of like your comfort zone. And I mean, Bocconi has a lot to offer, and there is a lot to take from that. So I would definitely recommend you to apply. And I mean, if you have any questions or anything particular, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn or on Unibuddy. So I'm available to offer advice or help on that.
Grazie, Pritish. So the idea tonight was, after we talked a little bit about what's about to study in Italy, why is a good destination for master studies, and a few features about Bocconi, the idea is to let you know more about our summer programs. That would be a great chance to come and experience for a few weeks the Italian lifestyle.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Veronica. Thank you so much, Pritish, for this wonderful presentation. I see that the students in the chat are really, appreciating what you've mentioned about Italy, what you've mentioned about Bocconi. Thank you, Pritish, also for your wonderful insights. I know some of them are very, very impatient to hear about the Bocconi Summer School and to also hear about the competition. So without further ado, firstly, thank you so much for everyone who's staying. There are about 50 questions, Veronica, that have come in about your presentation about Italy. The chat is also, quite busy. What we'll do very quickly is I'm going to give the floor to Chiara, who's going to be explaining to you about the Bocconi Summer School and the overall program as such. Just going to add Chiara to Spotlight as well. Sorry, just a second.
Can you hear me? Because I don't know why of course, my computer stopped for a while when it was my time. So,
no,
okay.
Yes, we can hear you very well. We can hear you very well. You can go on full screen and you can take us through the whole presentation. For everyone who's waiting to learn more about the Bocconi Summer School, now is a good time for you to, make notes about the Bocconi Summer School, because this particular part of the particular video is what you're going to be putting in your submission for the summer school. So if I were you, I'd take a diary and I'd take, like a pen and start making notes about what Chiara is going to be taking us through. Great. Over to you, Chiara.
Okay, thank you so much, Sarang. And I'm just trying to put my presentation in full screen, but I don't know why it's not going. So I'm sorry, but I will probably need to keep it this way. So a warm welcome also from my side. It's so nice to see everyone, so many people connected today and tonight for you. Here in Milan, it's still 4 in the afternoon. So I'm Chiara, as anticipated. I work for the Guidance and Recruitment Office at Bocconi University together with Veronica. So I'm part of the graduate team that is in charge of managing relationship with students interested in the Master of Science at Bocconi. I'm also a former Bocconi student, so I've done both my bachelor and master at Bocconi University, and I am part of the summer school team. So tonight I'm here with you in order to explain a little bit more about our summer school for a university student. So you've seen what it's like to study in Italy, what is a little bit about our culture, our food, what you can do in Milan. So now I want to share with you some more information on how can you try that, even for a shorter period of time, or maybe you try that, you really like it, and you decide that you want to stay more with us. So the summer school, it's a short program that we offer in our summer. So from the 26th of June until the 14th of July this year. It's a 3-week program, and we are already at our 9th edition, meaning that already a lot of students had come here in Milan in order to enjoy the program and enjoy Milano during summer. As you can imagine, during the pandemic, we had to switch everything online. So we tried to see the positive side of that experience, and we decided to keep also a part of the program online. So the program allows you, if you're still completing your undergraduate, your bachelor program, also to get 6 credits converted, 6 ACTS, that you can get if you pass the final exam during the last day of the program. I will cover the structure of the program in a few minutes. This is just, let's say, a sum up of the program, an idea of the program. We have for our experience, we noticed that students are actually very interested in coming to Milan. So we decided to put a big focus on the program offered on campus, and we offer 6 different courses for that. But again, as I was mentioning before, we also kept one program online for the people that, for example, are working, or they don't want to come here to Milan, but they still want to try and experience Bocconi University, and in general, the Italian approach to education that we offer. So in terms of available courses, we have 6 different courses that you can, among which you can choose. During the application, you will be required to specify 2 of those that you're interested in, and then you will be assigned just to one that you will cover for the whole 3 weeks program. So as you can see from the slide, the first course is offered both online and in present. So as specified in the slide before, there is just one online course, is the Equity and Venture Capital Financing course, while we have 6 other programs also offered on campus. You can see the whole list here. The idea is that we try to cover the area in which Bocconi mainly focus. So the area also in which we are stronger, and also to make you experience something that you might decide to pursue then in your future career or in your future studies. So you might try something new and you decide you like it. And then just for you to know, you've seen the list of our Master of Science before. They are connected to these courses. So imagine that these courses will also be covered then later in our Master of Science if you decide then also to apply to those. So really the idea of the summer school is to experience the university for a short period of time, and to focus on something that you might like or you might want to discover. So let me go a little bit through the 2 different types of programs, so the on-campus one and the online one. Let's start from the on-campus. So that is the one that we believe will give you the real Bocconi experience, because all of our program, also the Master of Science, Bachelor, are all offered on campus at the moment. So really, by joining the summer school on campus, you will have the possibility to live the whole experience and to live in really the city center. As Veronica mentioned before, it's an urban campus, so it's situated 10 minutes walking from Piazza Duomo, that it's the main square and the center of the city. And you will live as a Bocconi student for 3 weeks. So you will have the possibility to get to know our professor, to experience the vibe of the Italian way of living and the Italian way of studying. But also very important, you will have the possibility to connect with the business community. So Bocconi was founded by an entrepreneur. Veronica mentioned that before. The link with the entrepreneurial world is still very, very strong. And if we want you to try the Bocconi experience, we believe that you also should understand all the network and connection that our students are offered as a master student. So during the program, you will have the possibility also to join a company visit. Of course, the company will change based on the program you pick. So for example, last year with the luxury management program, well, we've been to a very famous producer, both of Italian Prosecco and wine and of luxury boat. But of course, the company visit might change. We're working on that, and we are preparing very good new opportunities for the next program, for this summer program. So how is going to be the on-campus summer school structure? During the morning, you will have light lectures with Bocconi professor, usually from 9:30 a.m. until 12:30 p.m. That might change a little bit, meaning that, for example, if for a day you're going to be out for the company visit, then you might have some makeup lesson in the afternoon, but more or less you will have always classes and then some free time for extracurricular activities and to work on the group project, the group work and assignment that you will have linked to the program, to class. Then there will be a final exam that will be fundamental in order to get the credit recognition. So speaking of extracurricular activities, here you have some picture from last year edition. As you see from the bottom right side of the slide, we organized a cooking class of Italian food. So students had the possibility to cook lasagna or other Italian dishes. We organized a tour of the city of Milan by bus. So students also had the possibility to see Milan from a different perspective. While here you also see some picture from classes, and the left upside picture is from the last day where we had a final ceremony with all students in our big Aula Magna. What about our online program? So again, it's a program that we offer. We've seen that there is still interest from students that, for example, decide to work during summer or that are not able to come to Milan, but still want to experience our programs. It's still a very flexible and interactive program, meaning that we have learned how to also switch to the online approach to education. So we've done that mainly during the pandemic. So since March 2020, in really a little bit more than a week, we had to switch everything online. And we have kept, let's say, we've tried to keep the good side of that. So after 2 years, we believe that we're strong in trying to put a strong interaction also in our online education. So the summer school is still strongly based on a strong interaction with professor and with other students, meaning that, for example, it's always suggested to our student to have the camera on during the classes, and so on. So the structure of the program, it's very similar to the on-campus one. You will have live lectures in the afternoon that it's mainly in order to cover all the time zone. So from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And then the session will be recorded and will be available to all students. So if you, for any reason, you're not able to connect or it's very late where you are, then you will have the possibility, or also you want to focus more on a subject, a field that was covered in one of the classes, then you will have the possibility to access the recorded session. There will be company testimonials. So since you won't be able to go to company visit, then company will come to you. So you will also see that side. And then still group project, individual assignment, a final exam, and extracurricular activities. So we also organized an online cooking class for our online student last year. They made tiramisu, that it's a typical Italian dessert. And it was still a very good experience if you hear from the student and participate to those. So let me cover the traditional application process that we offer for our summer school program. Just to clarify, then Sharang will cover more about this opportunity that we would like to offer to some of you of being able to participate to a competition and getting to win our summer program. But apart from that, we also want to share with you the traditional procedure in order to apply to our summer program. Okay, so here you can see the timeline. The application are open and will close on the 19th of April. So you have time still to collect all the documents that you need in order to apply. There are the one that you see on the right side of the slide. So meaning the student record, so exam and marks from your bachelor program, CV and motivational letter to understand a little bit more about yourself and about why you would like to study at Bocconi Summer School. So really the motivational letter, it's something for us to understand who you are and why you're interested in the program. And then a B2 level of English. We do not ask for any specific certificate. It's just a suggested level that we ask you to have in order to enjoy the program at the best. So interact with professor, interact with other students. So we won't ask any certificate. It's just going to be a part of the application online where you personally state that you have a B2 level of English. And that's, again, mainly in order to enjoy the program at its best. How can you apply? Here in the slide, you can see the link to our admission portal. It's on our website. So if you go on unibocconi.eu and you look for the summer school program, then you will have a blue box saying my application. So you can click there and then register on our application portal. And it's very easy. You just need to upload all the information, tell us some contact details, and that's it. We will collect all the application and give you back the result on the 5th of May. And then you will have 10 days in order to confirm, if you are admitted, to confirm your slot and pay the fee. So in terms of fee, I've tried to convert that also in rupee. I don't know if I did it right, but here you have the program fee structure. So just for you to understand that we have two different fees, of course, for the on-campus program and then the online program. In the fee, the program and all the extracurricular activities, company visit and so on are included. But then we also separate the fee basing on if you're currently enrolled in one of our partner university or not. So that is why you see 4 different prices here in the slide. We're also offering accommodation to our students that are willing to come to summer school program. So there is limited availability. So we kindly ask you to, it's something that you will apply to after you've been admitted to the program. But then when you're admitted, if you're interested also in housing, then please apply also for that. It's in our Aparto residence, Giovenale, that it's not one of our Bocconi resident, but it's one with we have some contract, and it's right in front of the campus, really like behind me. You will have single room with private bathroom, and you will have the possibility to come, of course, one day earlier before the start of the program, and then check out one day later. The price is different, so you have to add the price of housing to the price of the program. And here in the slide, you can see both the euro price and the rupee price. That covered the whole period of 3 weeks. If you want more information, you find everything on our website on the summer school section, or you also find more information in general about the accommodation at Bocconi in the link that you find in the slide. So just one last slide. And of course, then I'll leave the floor to Sharang, but of course I will be here in case you have any question about our summer school program, in case I forgot to say anything. Here you have our contact. So if you have any question about our Master of Science program, every curiosity, you can write us at graduate.services@unibocconi.it. Well, if you have any question on our summer school program, then here you also see our email. So summerschool@unibocconi.it. If you have Instagram, follow us on Meet Bocconi. That is the Instagram page of the Bocconi Guidance and Recruitment Office. So there we publish all the events and activities that we organize. And also, for example, when there are deadlines, we usually put a story to remind you that the time has come and that you need to apply. So I think I will stop sharing my screen and I leave the floor to Sharon to explain to you how you can participate to our summer school program.
Great. Thank you so much, Chiara. That was a wonderful presentation. Everyone was really excited to learn more about the Bocconi Summer School, and you've done that very well through your presentation. So thank you so much for that. It's my time to present now, anyone. And I think that this is a little bit about what you might be interested to know, which is about the Bocconi Summer School competition, where one of you can win 100% scholarship to study in Bocconi with including of housing. So all the fees that was mentioned in Chiara's slides are no longer going to be applicable. I'm going to remove you off spotlight if you don't mind. Just one point, Chiara, there are some questions that are there in the Q&A tab. There are about close to 80 odd questions that the candidates have asked. About 35 have been answered by Veronica, but if you can also pick up some, that will be great. Anything related to the competition, I'll be happy to pick up. Pritish, if you want to answer any of the questions that are about student housing, stuff like that related, we'll highly appreciate it. Now, talking about the competition, this particular part is also going to be on YouTube. So please make notes about this competition. And I'm going to be taking you through this whole presentation about the Bocconi Summer School competition very shortly now. Great. I believe you can all see my screen now. Yep. Great. So this is Sharang Thaimare talking about the Bocconi Summer School competition, and we are also on YouTube. So thank you so much for watching us here on YouTube. All the details about this is going to be in the caption. So please do click and look at all the links that will be shared. Very firstly, my name is Sharang. I'm the Director of Marketing at Seed Global Education, and Seed Global Education, along with Bocconi University in Milano, have started this one competition, which will give you a chance to study for the summer school. And you know that, I've mentioned this already, that 3 of you could be spending your summer of 2023 in Milano on a full or partial scholarship. So, there is first place, second place, and third place. So it's not only for one person. It could also you could also win second or third place if you participate in this competition. Great. So what am I going to cover in my slides today? I'm going to be covering a little bit about the eligibility criteria. I'm going to be covering about the whole process, what all you need to submit, what is the shortlisting criteria. So when you write your essay or your videos, what do you need to keep in mind? What are the timelines? So, how long is this competition for? When are the deadlines? So on and so forth. And finally, who the jury is and what are the prizes. And if you're interested, then you can also showcase your interest. I've shared a link before. I'll also be sharing another link shortly where you can showcase your interest to participate in this competition. So very quickly moving on to the eligibility criteria. First question. I know there was some, wonderful candidates who joined in from outside of India. Candidates that have joined in from Pakistan and different, countries also. Thank you so much for taking our time. But you are obviously eligible for the Bocconi Summer School, but not unfortunately for this competition. This competition is only for the citizens of India. You should, what we'll also judge is your interest to apply for a master's program abroad within the next 24 months. So if you're interested in applying for a master's, it could be at Bocconi, it could be somewhere else. At least that inclination is something that we want to see in your profile. If you are in your undergrad currently, if you finished your if you're currently in your undergrad in graduating in 2023 or graduating in 2024 or in 2025, you are eligible. If you've recently graduated, if you've completed your undergrad in 2022, you are eligible as well. So some questions that come in that, hey, I am in my master's, I'm currently studying my master's, am I eligible? If you've completed your undergrad in any of these years, you are going to be eligible for the Bocconi Summer School program and this particular competition. So make sure that if you're part of this age group, you should certainly apply. So what is the process of this whole competition? I would like you to showcase your interest. We'll be putting one link in the chat right now to where you will be able to showcase your interest in participating in this competition. We'll also reach out to you from tomorrow onwards to fill the complete application form, which is the final application form. Today, you'll only be submitting a 4 to 5 field form, only asking if you're interested in participating in this competition. So ensure you fill that, otherwise we'll not know that you're interested. We'll announce the shortlist. The 10 people who will be shortlisted will be invited for an interview, and then based on the interview and your overall application, the top 3 will be selected as winners, and these winners get the special scholarships that I will share shortly as well. What are you going to submit? So people have asked, been asking that, what is this competition all about? What do I have to submit? You have to submit a 500-word essay on why do you wish to participate in the Bocconi Summer School. Very simple question. You want to go to the summer school? Why? And you need to give us good reasons why we should select you. Similarly, we also want a 2-minute video. Again, this is not an audio. If you submit only an audio, unfortunately, we'll have to disqualify you. You have to submit a 2-minute video on why you should be selected for the Bocconi Summer School, and be as creative. Make it fun. Don't make, hey, my name is etc. and I would like to participate in the Bocconi Summer School because of one. To make it fun, make it creative. Try and showcase how creative and how how you can convince us that you should be the right person. There are also some details given about how you can upload this. So put it on a Google Drive. If you put on a Google Drive and that link is not accessible to us, unfortunately, we are not going to follow up with you. We'll have to disqualify you. So before you upload, check if it's working properly. Ensure that you shorten that URL. If you shorten the URL, it'll fit in that answer box as well. We'll also be asking for your undergraduate degree score. Don't worry if your scores have not been good in your class 12 or your CGPA, don't worry about it. It's not a elimination criteria. We look at the overall profile. If you create a very good video in your essay, it's very good, but your undergrad scores are slightly lesser, no problem. So don't worry. So it's not only the top rankers will be going for this program. If you are even an average student in your class, absolutely nothing for you to worry about. We will be looking at the whole profile. It's just we have to collect all this information. We also will be requiring your 1-page resume. So have you made your resume yet? If not, then do make a 1-page resume, because we'll need that in order to determine if you should be selected or not. And where do you plan to study? Remember, I asked you that if you plan to study in the next 24 months, tell us which countries, etc. are you targeting to study. Again, the same thing about the link, because we'll be asking you to submit a resume, etc. Ensure that link is accessible to everyone. What are we going to judge your video, your essay, and your interview? These are the 3 criteria, along with your overall profile. We'll be judging your essays, your 2-minute video, and the interview. We'll be judging you by the creativity, the clarity of communication, your confidence, and obviously your presentation in terms of how you present yourself and present your ideas. So these are the three to four critical things that we'll be looking at while we decide who is going to be the winner. But the most important criteria, it's not on this slide. The most important criteria to decide who the winner of this competition is going to be to showcase if you are the right fit. Yes, if you are the right fit to the Bocconi Summer School. So one quick tip, if I were you, I would go through everything about the Bocconi Summer School on the Bocconi website and find and give me or give the jury reasons why you are the perfect fit to be applying and to be winning the scholarship. That's my tip that I would recommend that you take to showcase why you are the right fit or the fitment to the Bocconi Summer School. That's the most important one, right? Moving on. You will also, as part of the application process, if you want to win, you should also be submitting your application to the Bocconi Summer School on Bocconi's application portal as well. We'll share the link to the Bocconi application portal for the summer school shortly. I think Kiara has already mentioned this in her presentation, but just here to reiterate that if you want to be going for the summer school, you should also submit an application, because if you don't win this competition, you'll still have a good chance of getting to the summer school. Maybe not on a scholarship, but at least you'll be, very close to going to the summer school. And Bocconi will know that you've attended this session or you're watching this session on YouTube to give you that bit of an admission chance. Quick sharing some dates. This is also going to be on the YouTube in the comment section, but very quickly sharing the deadline. Make note of this, very important. The deadline to submit the application is 31st of March. Okay, so today is the 22nd of March. You have a little over a week for you to submit. So if you have plans on the weekend, go ahead and take those plans, but remove some time to write the 500-word essay, remove some time to think and create that very engaging 2-minute video. Once you submit on the 6th, we'll need some time because a lot of you might be submitting this. So we'll need some time to determine with the jury who the top 6 are going to be. We'll conduct interviews between the 7th and the 12th of April. So we'll reach out to the top 10 candidates and we'll ask them for some interview slot or so. Finally, on the 13th of April, mark these dates. 13th of April, we'll announce the winners. Where will the winners be announced? The winners will be announced on Seed's Instagram page. So I'm going to be sharing this link. My colleague Radha will be sharing the link to the Seed's Instagram page very shortly in the chat box. So do follow us on Seed to know if you are part of the top 10 or not. Finally, you also have a deadline to submit your application for the Bocconi Summer School on Bocconi's admission portal as well. So ensure you do that before the 19th April. And yes, there will be 3 winners, but in case one of those 3 winners is not being able to go, we'll give the 4th place a chance to apply and join the Bocconi Summer School. So the top 3 winners have a deadline to enroll, which is to confirm their presence at the Bocconi Summer School on the admissions portal, and the deadline for that is going to be the 15th of May. So these are some of the timelines. This is also going to be shared on the YouTube video in the caption at a later stage, but just sharing this right now since you're watching us live. Know who the jury of this competition is. We've got the Bocconi Graduate Recruitment, Guidance and Admissions team. This is the team that is based in Milan. A couple of them are traveling right now. Some of them are in South America. Some of them are in Asia, in different parts of Asia. But there is, quite a few people from the jury here. There's Mario, who leads the team. There is Veronica, who made the presentation earlier about Bocconi. There's Kiara, who just spoke about the summer school. So if you paid attention to them, you would have gained some good insights about what this whole process was. There's Stefano, Alicia, Valeria, and Marta, who are also going to be part of the jury. And please remember that the decision of the organizers and the jury will be final and binding. So these are the people that will determine if you are going to be getting that 100%, 75% or 50% scholarship. So that's what the rewards are. Very quickly to also remind you that this is not only the scholarship to the program or not only the tuition fee to the program, we'll also be covering for the winners housing and accommodation. So that's something that I would recommend, that this is a great place for you to showcase your interest, and do submit your application if you want to get this chance. It's going to be a wonderful experience. Just imagine 3.5 weeks in June and July of 2023, when it gets a little hot here in India, you will be at the Bocconi Summer School learning. Not only, this is not a tourist activity that you just go and you go to Italy for a vacation. This is about learning. This is about a summer school, and you're going to have Bocconi Summer School as part of your resume. So when you apply to master's education later on, it's going to come off very much use. And most importantly, the best part about the Bocconi Summer School is you'll get to meet and interact with people from all over the world. Right now, you're studying in a college in India or in your home country, and you only meet people from India or people from your home country. In Bocconi, you're not only going to meet Italians, but also people from different parts of the world. So that's going to be the most exciting part of the summer school. And, to be honest, I'm a little old to apply. Otherwise, I will be the first one applying and not organizing this particular summer school program for you. So once again, we've shared this before, but please register on the link that is in the chat, or the link that is in the caption on, if you're watching this on YouTube. Showcase your interest right now. We will get back to you very, very soon, and we will share the full application form with all the rules and regulations, the topic of the essay, the caption, and all the things that you need to do. If you have questions, please ask the questions in the Q&A tab. If you have questions and you're watching us here on YouTube, you can write to us at info@seedglobaleducation.com. That is info@seed, that's SEED globaleducation.com. Please do write us an email if you have any questions. We'll be able to respond to you within 24 hours. So thank you. And we hope to have your entry to the Bocconi Summer School, which is going to be a really, really exciting affair. If I were you, I would surely apply. I'm quickly going to go back to the timelines. Remember, the timeline to submit your application is the 31st of March. So keep a good tab on your WhatsApp, keep a good tab on your email, because we'll be sending you the complete application form. It's also going to be on the YouTube, where you'll get to know where the complete application form is, which will ask you more details, which will have all the submission links that you must put in. So it's a great opportunity. I'm going to close this now and open it up for questions. This is where the YouTube video will also close. So if you've got questions, if you're watching us here on YouTube, do reach out to info@seedglobaleducation.com. Thank you so much for everyone who's joined on YouTube. And I'm going to stop my screen share and open it up for questions. I'm going to have Veronica, Kiara, and Pritish also join in. I'm going to try and look at some of these questions very, very shortly. Just give me a moment. I'm going to add all of you to Spotlight. I know there are a lot of questions, so please be mindful that we'll not be able to cover all questions. I'm just going to spend about 5 to 10 minutes more on this particular part. If you have questions, we can reach out to you. Very quickly, if you want me to ask your particular question, then please vote the questions. If you like a particular question that is there in the Q&A tab, go and click the like button or the thumbs up button. That will help me to decide which questions should I be asking. So the first question that Rachita was asking is, how can you get a full scholarship? Question to Veronica, slightly larger question though. This is not related to the competition, but what are the scholarship opportunities for Indian students if they would like to, study a master's program at Bocconi?
That's a great question. Thank you very much. As said, we are very much committed to support and help all the talented students that we believe fit for our program and for our environment. So when students apply and submit the application for admission to any of our Master of Science programs, they are automatically evaluated for merit scholarship that can cover 100% of tuition fees. Bocconi International Awards, 50% tuition fees, and also female, it's called the Women Awards. So for female students admitted in finance, we have a full scholarship as well. Pritish, I can't remember if you got one of these.
No, I didn't get it. No.
Nobody survived. Then there is a question for Pritish probably about funding. What I can say is that this type of merit scholarship you don't apply for. So just submitting application for admission would allow you to be evaluated for that. Of course, it's the most talented student or the more interesting profiles, and you will get it together with admission. So before leaving India, you already know if you can profit of this type of scholarship.
Sorry, great. Thank you so much. There are some questions for you, Pritish. I think some of Taliba, Mushtaq would like to connect with you if you are comfortable to share, any information where people can reach out to you, maybe LinkedIn, maybe an email that they can write to you. They've got some questions about, your experience at Bocconi and your admission process to Bocconi. I would request if you can put that in the chat. That will be super helpful.
Sure. I'll just do that.
Great. Thank you so much. I think that has been covered. We've covered questions about scholarships already, so that has, I'm going to close that. So Chiara, one question that has been coming up in different shapes and forms is, what is the importance of a summer school for a student in the future, right? This is not just about going to the Bocconi summer school and having some things there, but once a student completes the summer school, goes back home, maybe is applying for jobs, maybe is applying to different universities if they want to study in the future. What is the importance of this Bocconi summer school? What are the emotional changes that also take place, because they meet a lot of people? So just want you to throw some light on what is the student experience after the summer school?
Thank you so much, because this is a very, very good question. So I'll try to be short in answering that, because, you can cover a lot of different things on that. I believe that the first important thing is that this is in general for summer school. You have the possibility to experience for a short period of time something that you might be interested in or that you have never heard of, but you believe it can be your passion or your future career path. So you try for a short period something, and you see if you like it or not. But how you do that? You do that in a completely different culture, for example. So if you decide to go abroad to do that, you also have the possibility to visit a new country and to experience the way of living and the way of studying of another country. And that will add also to your personal CV. Then another thing, of course, is that you also can add it to your CV, and it's something that employer might really evaluate, in the sense that you show that during summer you have done something. So you decided to spend some time also in building your skills and pursuing something new. And then another thing I believe it's very important also for the future in general is that you do network. You network with professor, you network with people belonging to a network that it's usually different from the one you're used to, but also with other students from really everywhere. So even if you decide then to enroll in the master, it happened, we covered that in another webinar. So there were 2 students enrolled in last year summer school, and they said that they were contacting each other when they decided to come then to Bocconi to find together an apartment. So that it's a start, but again, you make connection that can be useful also for your future career path. I believe I answered that, but otherwise I'm here to further cover that.
You have. Thank you so much for that. I think my next question, which is, covered a lot in this particular presentation, is for Veronica. Veronica, if you can take us through some of the career opportunities that Bocconi has, especially for Indian students, because, and I'd like Pritish also, who I know is a current student right now, but very soon will be entering, maybe the job market and is going to be starting to look for opportunities in Italy. So, firstly, Veronica, if you can take us through some of the opportunities for Indian students who would like to go and build their careers in Europe, what are some of the tips and what does Bocconi provide in terms of resources and infrastructure to Indian students to help them with the job search?
So because I worked 20 years here at Bocconi, I know a lot of alumni and I will mention a few of their stories, but just for you to know, in this building, we have a job fair in 2 weeks with more than 100 companies who come and interview students. You can hand their CV, and it's not only Italian companies. We organize this type of job fair in London, Paris, Frankfurt, Brussels. So you are able to connect also to companies and the job market all over Europe. I know students, Indian students who are working here in Milano in the finance sector. I know an Indian student who works at IBM. He was in London and now he's in Dubai. Another one works at Whirlpool. They did the international management Master of Science program, so it's more related to multinationals. These are just a few examples, but one is in Dubai, one is in London, one is in Milano, just to say that it's very easy in any case to also relocate in Europe or abroad. Again, in Dubai is one of the youngest and most exciting alumni chapter of Bocconi people. There are a lot of young people who have a lot of fun there. Pritish maybe wanted to say something related also with the companies and managers that you meet during class.
Right. So, I mean, as Veronica said, there are a lot of opportunities all around Europe, outside Europe. So it's not just specific to Italy. So that's a very good thing in terms of like the options that you have. Also, when it comes to like interacting with like employers and even the guests we have that come and give us lectures, I mean, right after class, we can individually talk to them one-on-one, talk to them about sort of opportunities at their place, at their companies, and it's very easy to connect with people like that and reach out to them, considering that you have the weight of Bocconi behind you as a student. So it makes talking to people and alumni very easy. So it's very common for me to reach out on LinkedIn to Bocconi alumni who are working at different companies all around the world, and to just talk to them about career advice, how I should plan my applications, cover letters, and it's very resourceful that way.
Great. Thanks so much, Veronica and Pritish, for those particular, answers. Thank you so much, Chiara, for also answering so many questions. We've already, answered close to 100 questions. There are 23 open ones as well. I think most of those questions now are about either individual profiles, about cybersecurity or about, data analytics. So I don't think it's fair for the 180 plus people who are here to be looking at some of those questions. And questions about the summer school, like what is the topic for the essay? I think that's going to be shared in the link and you'll be able to get all the information there. One question for you, and I think Veronica, Chiara, any of you can answer about something about the luxury management course. It's been asked a little bit more. Italy as a destination, usually people consider it for business and for other activities, but also from something to do with fashion and luxury brand management. Could you share what Bocconi has on offer for some of the students interested in doing this?
So I say a few things, but maybe Chiara will say more. In my opinion, of course, Milano especially is the capital of fashion worldwide. Bocconi partners with Gucci for research projects, with LVMH for internships, and these are just a few of the many brands that come into this building. For example, when we have a fashion weeks, we have a fashion shows inside of these our own buildings. So it's also a nice experience to watch.
Yeah, I believe that Italy is very strongly connected with the luxury, meaning like the way of wearing fashion, but also we bring luxury to food and to everything. I studied, as I mentioned before, I've done the Master of Science in Economics and Management in Arts, Culture, Media, and Entertainment. So on cultural and creative sectors, and luxury is one of that. So that specific program, for example, but also in the program of management, there is a focus on luxury and made in Italy, because another thing is that, as I said, so since we bring luxury to everything, we also created a brand that is the made in Italy, that usually means it's equivalent of good quality and then luxury. So the idea is try to understand how to manage those sector, and I believe that in Italy is one of the country worldwide where you should do that if you're interested in that. I had a lot of friends and classmates that are now working for company in the luxury world. So I'm speaking of Gucci, Chanel, Prada, Bottega Veneta,
Bulgari.
Bulgari, really a lot of fashion brands. So honestly, if you're interested in luxury management, I believe that Italy is one of the best places where you can do that.
If I can add just one fun fact that you might want to check online, one of our alumni set up his own luxury, but not one. We have many who set up their own fashion businesses or sustainable fashion businesses. One, for example, is a German who is producing Italian leather shoes in Germany. One other, where you can Google WRAD, written broad, he set up his own sustainable fashion company, and he is really working also as an activist to help other companies to become sustainable.
Great. Thanks so much for this. I think that covers a lot about what Bocconi does for luxury brand management and fashion. Italy, known to be the fashion capital of the world in most of our opinion. Two questions before we close this session. We've got the last 5 minutes. Kavita asks a very interesting question, and again, I think I'm going to have two parts of this question. One would be to Veronica about the fact that US might be going through some bit of recession, etc. Do you feel that students are right now coming into the program thinking about if they should be studying now, or if they are currently working professionals, should they keep their jobs? What do you think in today 2023 students should be thinking about if they want to pursue a higher education degree, or if they should continue working in their jobs? From a recession perspective, is that going to be impacting some of the jobs directly to Bocconi students?
What I can say is that we are implementing all the data science, transformative sustainability, cyber risk programs, artificial intelligence, because these are bringing students to the work of the future. And companies and the job market is already asking for this type of skills. So the sooner the students get it, in my opinion, the faster they get into the new job market that is coming quickly.
Great, wonderful. Thanks so much for that. I think one question that Ashrita had for you, Kiara, is that there are some courses on the Bocconi Summer School that are worth 6 credits. What are these credits for, and what is the value of completing these credits for the students?
Yeah, so mainly upon passing the final exam at the end of the course, you will get a certificate stating that you have attended the summer school program, and that the course that you have done for the 3 week, it's equivalent of a 6 credit ACTS course. With that certificate, you can go back to your university and get those credits converted in your study plan. So it's as you were taking a normal course at your university, but you take it at our university and then you ask for a conversion.
Great. I think that covers your question as well. And I think we've covered almost all the questions here. We've answered about close to 125 questions and so many questions that are also in the chat. So thanks so much. We are close to the end of this session here on Zoom. We had a lot of people attending in this session. Registrations were also, almost a record high for a competition. So thanks so much for everyone who's taking out this time on a weekday evening. It's close to 9:30 p.m. here in India. So, thank you for waiting for your dinner or have already completed dinner and just before going to bed here. I think Veronica wanted to share a little bit about Milano. Yeah.
I just wanted to say our official greetings in Italian, which is Arrivederci a Milano.
What does this translate to? Look forward to seeing you soon.
It's see you soon in Milano, yes.
Yeah.
So great. So, for the 150 plus of you who are still here, I think this is a personalized greeting for each of you to participate in this competition. If you win it, 100% scholarship. If you don't win it, it's okay, because there are going to be a lot of entries. If it's don't win, you can still have this life-changing experience of visiting Bocconi for 3 weeks in the heart of the summer, which is not as hot as what it might be here in Mumbai. So if you're from Delhi or Mumbai, it's going to be much, much more pleasant if you're in Milan in the months of June or July. Thanks so much, everyone, once again for joining. Very, very big thank you to Veronica, Chiara, and especially to Pritish also, who's taken out time from his busy student schedule to have made it here. Thanks so much, everyone. Wish you all the best and hope to see each of you applying for the summer school. And we look forward to your entry very soon. Have a nice rest of the evening. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.
Arrivederci, ciao.
Ciao. Hope to see you this summer.